Welcome to Earl Stewart on Cars.
There's a lot of invasion of privacy in car dealerships because of the nature of the way cars are sold, and the driver's license and the credit applications are two of the things that people are most vulnerable to having exploited when you go into a car dealership. Insurance requires that before you let a person that comes in off the street drive one of your cars, that they have a driver's license. Now, you could say, okay, why not just show the driver's license? And I would say that should be acceptable. But the insurance companies do require that you have a copy of it, and I suppose that's to validate that that person did, because let's assume that somebody came off the street, let's say his driver's license had been suspended for a good reason, DUI, and he says, I want to drive one of your cars, and you don't ask him for his driver's license, and he gets in the brand new car, and you let him drive, and he wrecks the car, maybe even hurts or kills the salesperson and himself. That would be a huge liability to the car dealership. And the insurance company would probably come up and say, why did you do that? And you said, well, because he had a valid driver's license, and how are we to know he was dangerous? And they say, well, show me a copy of the valid driver's license. If you don't have a copy, and it turned out later that had been suspended, then the dealership could be in good trouble. Okay, that's the valid reason. The fact of the matter is the dealers do use this information. As a matter of fact, they have sophisticated scanners now that they scan that information, the barcode, which virtually all licenses in Florida, and I believe most states, have a barcode with all the information that's on the license, and then some, I believe. A lot of interesting information which can peg you demographically. Looking at a driver's license, you basically can state your sex, your race. You can obtain the driving record. You can get all sorts of personal information. And the dealers use that to sell you the car. And I don't think it should be. I don't think it's right. Privacy is a huge issue today. I mean, we worry about identity theft. And here, when you walk into a car dealership, basically, you're giving them a larger chunk of your identity. The items you need for a credit check are the date of birth, Social Security number, and, of course, the name. If they did a credit check and you did use your Social Security number for your driver's license number, then that would be illegal without your signature. And I will say this, too. There are a lot of times that dealers do this without your knowledge. It's a crime. And you could also sue that dealer if he generated a credit report without your permission. You have to have your signature on the credit application. Sometimes they forge signatures on this. It's amazing what goes on out there. If it's a husband and wife buying a car together, if you run the credit application for a joint purchase without both signatures, then you have violated the law. So I'd be very careful about that. It's very easy to find out if your credit application has been run. You can check with the credit bureaus, Google credit reports, and you'll end up finding out more than you need to know about how to find out the information about when someone inquired about your credit. But it does happen. And matter of fact, a lot of car dealers will use the screening of the credit application before they'll even talk to you. They want to know from the get-go, does this person have acceptable credit? So if I do sell them a car, can I get them financed? And that's kind of a dishonest way to look at selling cars, but a lot of dealers will do that, especially if they're busy, if it's a sale, if at the end of the month when a lot of people come in and they have to kind of select the people that are most likely to buy a car, they'll use your credit report, a way to cull out the people that they don't want to waste their time on, which is insulting, degrading, and I believe it's probably illegal. Certainly, if they run your credit report without your permission, it's illegal. All businesses and dealers are subject to audits. There is a legal procedure that we must follow, car dealers and all business. We are supposed to shred all documentation that is not used in the selling process and that is not required by federal, state, local laws to be kept in the file. And certainly, if you go into a car dealership and they take your copy of your driver's license and you decide not to buy a car, then you should be sure that that document is shredded, and it should not be used for solicitation purposes, or, they could sell that information if they collected enough scanned driver's license. So that should be shredded, and I would insist that they shred it in my presence and be sure that there were no copies made.